We are now into Super Bowl pre-week, and this is the St. Louis Syndicate, and we're here to talk with you about all things football, mostly what just happened. And I'm coming to you live from St. Louis, Missouri, unfiltered. Okay, so we normally have a pre-show, Brandon, and in this pre-show, you and
Yes.
I, we talk, and we try to make sure that we're on the same page, and things are going the right way, even though we arguably don't always agree on our picks, which is a lot of fun. A lot of times it makes for good
Yeah.
conversation. But this is unfiltered, folks. You're getting live Brandon's feedback and Nate's
Yeah.
feedback on how the weekend went. He started off, guys, and he goes, "You're not going to fucking believe this." And I go, "Wait a minute. We got to start recording." So I'm Nate. He's Brandon. We're the St. Louis Syndicate. Brandon, what happened in Ben Harper, my man?
I am officially a two-time champion in Ben Harper because I thought I didn't get my picks in, and then I did, and then they were both wrong. So I took the last $246,000 that I had, and I put all but 25,000 on it, 25,000 of it on the over in the Denver game and the under in the Rams game. And then I put the last 25,000 on that plus Denver on the money line and the Rams on the money line and just blew all of them. Was somehow wrong on all four thoughts. Now, I was pretty sure the Denver and the Rams thing was a long shot. I thought there was a chance at it.
Yeah.
And at, a 24 multiple, I thought 25 grand to maybe hit that, I would have picked up like 600 grand or something like that. So I thought, well, let's just take a flyer. Because very simply, I thought either one of those teams could win. And that's kind of what got us into this conversation here was, you went, hey, you got to take those points when you get the shot to go up 10-0.
Yeah.
And I thought every time they dropped Stidham straight back, he had a good shot at finding a receiver. And they just kept rolling him.
They did.
Off and just shortening his field and giving the Patriots defense the chance to just get hands up and get in the way. Not to mention, they broke the play. I mean, whatever they were planning on doing, there was two guys that came unblocked immediately. So regardless of how that play was supposed to work, they screwed it up.
Oh, yeah.
But at least if you come straight back, you got a shot to plant your foot and throw it anywhere on the field. And you could tell, he just started trotting and he was like, oh, I'm very stuck. And then just, it took a shot and it didn't work. And, it is what it is. But yeah, I thought that I was staring into them scoring again.
Yeah.
Going up 14-0 and me being well on the way to my over.
Yeah.
Because I thought, New England's going to score 21 points either which way.
Yeah.
And I just needed Denver to get to
green grass, blue skies. Denver, the weather looked great, Brandon. I mean, that first quarter was built for the over. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't moving the ball as fast as I would have liked them to. Like, it would have been nice if by the time they were doing that fourth down play, if it was already like 10-7 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was definitely possible to go 14, New England catch up, and then them kind of battle back and forth and get into the low 20s on both sides. That was kind of my thought on the subject. But as soon as he screwed up that fourth down, I was like, that's probably the over right there.
Oh.
And then 10 minutes later, you were just like, is my projector going back? Like, what is happening?
Why is there white stuff everywhere?
Yeah. And surprise, a snow hurricane came out of nowhere.
It was the most unbelievable. I just kept thinking about those poor people that probably spent like, $800 on their tickets, and they're just sitting in there.
It could have been more. I mean, I bet, Denver, the way they come out for their team, that lower bowl was probably a couple thousand
Oh,
easy.
yeah,
You know, down by the field, the kind of money they got in Denver and the way that they come for their team, like
man.
that could have been as expensive as the Super Bowl, the way that they spend money out there. But um, but yeah, that very much caught me off guard
So
when I looked at the weather Saturday and there was a 0% chance of precipitation.
yeah,
And so I said, I mean, the over. That sounds great. Stidham's going to throw better than you think. May's going to throw better than you think. Neither team's going to be able to run. They're going to have to throw the ball. And they got the game started, and that's what they were doing.
yeah.
And then, I mean, that's up there with, you know, the most surprise snow I've ever ran into. I'll tell you that much. Like, we've had a couple of games where it was like, you know, standing snow on the field. Well, that Buffalo game
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where Allen threw it and then caught the pitch and took it into the end zone. Like that was some deep snow. But what are you gonna do? It is what it is. I gave back less than I would have thought.
Oh,
You,
yeah.
you know, I didn't really bring this up because I was pouting the last couple of days. But you know, your rules in the smaller pick'em league that we play in saved me from completely getting housed
Good.
because I was able to put all of my turbo on the under in the big league
Yeah,
and lost like $200. And I ended up money because I had to put all the turbo on Denver
yeah. And it
and they
helped you
hit.
out.
So I caught a real break there for going 1 for 3 or 1 and 3 for the 4 picks. Where did you end up landing at?
Man, so it all happened how I thought it would. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if I said this live or on camera. I said something to the effect of they're going to score, Denver's going to score in the first drive of each half. And then the Patriots are going to dominate the rest of it. But their game of domination is only going to be maybe 10 to 14 points per half. So if they scored 28 and Denver came up with what I thought was going to be 10, that's
Yeah.
38 to the 42. I said they're under all the way. And in the big
Yeah.
gap, I turboed the under.
Yeah.
Woo! I cut
Well,
my deficit in half. So while I was
that's
feeling
good to
bad
hear.
for you getting crushed over in Ben Harper, I was cutting my deficit, so I didn't feel quite
Yeah.
as bad. But
It is what it is. It's
it
one of
is
those things where luckily, um, it takes me a day or so and then it just flushes out of my system. Like I need to get better, um, you know, about letting it go before the game even starts. I think 2 weeks ago, I was real good with that. I got to what I wanted to put on those games and just kind of Saturday morning came to a peaceful decision on all of that. I was stressed out about these 2 games. I knew I was taking a shot. Nobody liked that I liked the opposite of what everybody else. Chad was the same way. My brother was the under and the over, and everybody I talked to was the opposite. And that's why I was feeling that I needed to do it because I
very
was like, you guys are
contrarian.
just,
Very
well, you're
contrarian.
just, you were being just, everybody was just going like, this is how it's going to happen. And like, this is football. Shit happens.
All the time.
Now, what happened was
A snow
a snow
hurricane.
hurricane and a muff punt.
Yeah. That muff
I
punt
still contend
was a deal
that
breaker.
we would have went under in the second game also if he catches that punt clean.
Possibly.
Like,
Possibly, yeah.
I don't think they scored 28 points in the third quarter. He muffed that punt with like 11 and a half minutes left.
Yeah.
Now, look, if Stafford goes out there and there's lots of question marks. But when I got to the end of that game and realized that I had just watched the whole fourth quarter and nobody had scored, I was like, it's just like, damn, like we were it was just a flurry of nonsense as soon as he muffed that punt. Because then Seattle scored, and then the Rams were on it, and they needed to score, and it went to chaos. But I think if Stafford gets that ball and kills 6 or 7 minutes and then kicks a field goal, like we're right on the path for that to stay under. And I at least would have hit my under turbo pick. So yeah, I get it. What started this was the Denver thing. Was, hey, kick and get some points. And you're definitely right about the part that I have to assume Sean Payton has a meteorologist. Somebody had to tap him on the shoulder and go, hey, man, it's going to snow. So to that point, I don't know why he didn't kick the field goal.
Yeah,
Because,
that
like,
that's a
beat the
concern.
snow,
Points are a
get
big
some points.
deal. And this is
Yeah.
what I was talking to you earlier about. When you have a guy like Stidham, the guy hasn't played, what do they say, 724 days or something since the
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah.
And he's got you up 10-0. Why would you take the points off the board and risk it with a guy who hey, is he capable? Yes. Could he do it? Yes. Do you have a gut feeling about him? Yes. But listen, man, this is to go to the Super Bowl. Play the percentages. Put the points on the board. Quit going so I'm smarter than everybody else. And that, Peyton's always got that smug look on his face, like I'm smarter than everybody else.
Well, he does.
And it just really bothers me because this is a prime scenario where up 10-0 and then a blizzard hits changes the dynamic of everything. It
Absolutely.
just really does.
But in the moment, I didn't know it was going to snow.
No.
I was going, let's run this. Let's run the ball. I didn't really love the idea of running, but like maybe Stidham's a big dude.
Yeah.
Stuff his ass to the line.
Yeah.
Like
He's
just
big dude.
get him by the belt loops and just ram him through the Patriots. Or, like I said, just let him take a 7-step drop and send everybody out, and somebody's going to get open. Like the Patriots were on their heels. Like you're going to have an open receiver somewhere, or at least you're going to have the opportunity to look and then run. If you want to short your field one way or the other after you do your checks, hell, he was chest passing the ball. So like he clearly felt kind of comfortable out there. I've never seen somebody chest pass a football to a running back before. That was the craziest shit ever. Like
that's something though that we've talked a lot, right? We've talked about May, and he was very conservative because he was getting the ball batted around the week before. We got a new quarterback instead, and we keep wanting to talk about these quarterbacks, talk about the quarterbacks. But honestly, when you bring that all back around, it was really the running games that surprised me. We know New England can run the ball. They've got a decent running attack. They've got a two-headed monster. Stevenson's a very strong runner. But I really expected a little bit more because RJ Harvey hasn't had a bad year. I kind of expected a little bit more out of the Denver running game. So the fact that
both of their run defenses were just so good, though.
Yeah.
They were just stopping them, both sides.
On the second half,
they just closed all the gaps.
That's what broke loose, though, is the Patriots' consistency with it. They would pop an 8-yarder, and then they'd get swallowed up. But then the difference there is, May would make a play with his feet, and Stidham wasn't doing that. So there was a little bit
of because he's not he ain't that guy. No. You needed to play a game where you took every one of the opportunities if you were going to win. I thought they were going to be able to score points because I thought the weather was going to be clear, and he's got a fine arm.
Yeah.
But I thought it was an outside shot of them winning. It's going to be interesting, right? Because we're going into a game where I don't really believe in one side, and the rest of the world doesn't really believe in the other side. And it's a very confusing thing to watch a team win 9 games on the road.
Yeah.
And have ball knowers go, Vrabel's not a good coach. He's a good leader.
Yeah.
But he's not a good coach yet.
Great leader.
So like it was that thing of, is he going to make a tactical mistake? He can get out there and he can will his guys to do their jobs. But like, will he goof something when it comes down to it? And he didn't again.
No,
And then on the other side, I stare at Sam Darnold and just go, I know what's in there.
he's trying to prove you wrong,
All
man.
you have to do is screw up bad one time, and the game goes entire. If he screws up instead of, man, I bet that dude on the Rams would love to know that I can't remember his name, because whatever beach he's sitting on right now,
The kick returner,
I'm sure
the punt
he
returner.
is just
Yeah.
going, I wish everybody didn't know my name. So it's been deleted from my brain. So good on you, man. I
Oh,
hope you find some peace.
that was
But
a big deal because it just happened so fast. That muff was just, it's funny. Ryan and I. So you guys remember
you,
Ryan from last year? Ryan and I usually
yeah,
talk sometime throughout the day, and it's usually after picks are in and everything. And Ryan had said, "Hey, bold prediction. I think we're going to get a score 24-21 for both games." And I thought, okay. I said, I was thinking more 30-26 on the Seattle and the Rams game. And he's like, why would you think that? We're so opposite of it. And I actually made the comment to him that I expect one defensive or special teams touchdown / play out of Seattle, and I expect Stafford to fluke into a touchdown. And both of those happened. Otherwise, it would have
yeah,
been under. Stafford is
yeah,
really good at fluking into one, and like that Adams thing that he had, the Devontae Adams thing. While talent, they're talented players. They
yeah.
execute, they practice.
But it was a crazy throw.
That was
It was a
crazy.
crazy throw.
So Stafford flukes into one, and then they have a special teams turnover, and that's the over. And that's what I banked my
Yeah.
play on. And
And, I'm sure it does not help that man at all.
no,
But I hope that McVay
Mm.
grabbed him after the game and said, it's my fault.
yeah,
He muffed the first punt. I shouldn't have allowed you back out there. Now, I'm sure that hurts a guy to go, you are so incompetent in your job that your coach should have stopped you from going back out there. But
yeah,
it's on McVay to run his team. And if you muff the first one and fall on it,
yeah,
you go, you're done.
yeah,
It's over. We're in the playoffs. The same thing that you were just talking about with Stidham on the
yeah,
other side. You cannot.
no,
If you get away with one, you don't press your luck. You take your, okay, that was lucky. And then you go, who has the surest hands?
yeah,
Devonta, you're going to get out there and you're just going to fair catch the ball. And then you're going to use those giant fucking mitts you have and you're just going to catch it.
yeah,
And you're just, the rest of the game, we're just going to fair catch the ball wherever it lands. And then we're going to hand it to Stafford and he's going to do his job
yeah,
because he gets paid $40 million
yeah,
instead of the dude making 800 grand.
yeah.
Like it, it's one of those things that,
Control the
wh-
control. You got to control what you can.
yes. And I don't understand how McVay consistently coaches like he knows exactly what's going on and then just makes the most boneheaded moves randomly. I mean, he went into a Super Bowl against Belichick and had no plan to deal with Belichick screwing with him.
Yeah.
And he just got held down and given a wet willy for 4 hours
Ah,
by a team that couldn't move the ball either.
I really
They
think
won 13-3. Like,
I really think McVay's problem, and I kind of like him as a coach, but he's that guy that needs to let go. Does he want to be the head coach or does he want to be the offensive coordinator? He struggles to manage the big picture because he's so worried about what the next play is.
yeah, I mean, that very well could be what
Some
the deal is.
some coaches can manage it, but you see him with his little card, man, and he's running around with his little card all day. And Brandon, we're gonna talk like this all day. We're gonna run, and he's running, looking at this thing. You see all the pictures, his hair's everywhere.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He's doing all this. Well, that's fine, except he's doing that instead of thinking, this punt returner. I'm gonna take just a minute and think about him. What's his situation right now? How many has he done this year? How long has he been on the team? Is this situation too big for him? He can't think that way because he's got to be thinking he's got 28 seconds to get a play into Stafford. Either let Stafford call the game or let an offensive coordinator take over with your advice during the pre-planning session. But these guys that's why like Vrabel, I don't think Vrabel calls anything. He's just motivator. And he's paying attention. The coaches that pay attention to the clock, they pay attention to the officials. They're watching to see if there's holding. The ones that sit and chirp in the official's ear the whole time. And I know it sounds
Sure.
ridiculous.
Well, or in their coordinators' ears. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what you should be doing. You should be going, hey, what are you thinking? What do you want to do here? Why
yeah,
do you want to do it? Like, like you should almost be talking to the coordinator for the the side that isn't on the field.
yeah,
You should be going, hey, my offense is out there. The offensive coordinator, hey, I'm going to watch. And if I have an opinion, okay, but I'm going to let him make his calls because, hey, clock's running. Let's go.
yeah.
And let me talk about, hey, what are we doing next with the other team, and leading. But, the crazy thing is that uh, McVay's probably not going to check. I think he's leaving town with Stafford.
You think he is?
You know? Yeah, I thought he was leaving with Darnold, to be perfectly honest. I thought when Aaron Donald retired, he was just gonna be like, cool, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
But, Stafford kept going because I kind of thought Stafford was gonna go when Darnold went. I thought kind of all three of them, like, hey, if the healthiest of the three of us is retiring, the other two will beat it. I don't see McVay being the guy going, oh, I want to restart this thing.
Yeah, it's
Like,
interesting. I don't know what he'll do. He's an interesting character for sure.
he's younger than me and he's rich as shit. Like, and he lives in LA. Like, I would just go, I'm going to start investing.
Yeah.
And
Well, but he could have
like,
TV jobs so easy. I mean, he could be
sure,
on any of those out of LA.
why do you do that? I
That
get it. If you played and you're just, it's in your blood. It doesn't seem like it's in his blood. I don't know that that's his thing. I think he's just good at it. And they're like, here, we'll give you $12 million a year to be a coach. And he was like, hi, can I get one of the greatest defensive linemen ever?
Yeah,
And then we'll trade for this dude that's basically the same age as him.
yeah,
We'll run the team together. And
yeah,
whenever he leaves town, I could just see him just going like, I'm out of here. I'm
yeah,
not getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and doing TV jobs either. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna like
I don't
I'm gonna
know.
go turn my millions into more millions and just,
Sometimes these guys, man,
get the hell out of here.
sometimes these guys, they just get ate up with that bug that they just, they want to taste that win. They want to have that
Yeah.
championship. Maybe he's got that. I don't know. I do kind of think he's probably an easier out than most coaches. If it
Yeah. And
wasn't for the
hell,
fact that Buffalo's so cold, that would have been a good job for him, actually.
if
Uh,
him and Stafford can figure out how to win next year,
yeah, you could
he could be
see
in the
it.
Hall of Fame by the time he's 42.
Yeah, probably not going to happen though. I mean, because they're not voting Belichick in. He's not won enough, apparently.
Oh,
Belichick
I
can't get
look.
voted in.
That's oh god, the dumbest. Oh man, I came on here last week and complained about all the guys with the catch, you know,
Oh yeah,
and now, you know, I get a alert on my phone. It's like, hey, these two goobers are reporting that Belichick doesn't have enough votes to get in the Hall of Fame, and I'm just like,
uh,
okay, like, click the app and it just loads up, and it's just the dumbest mouth breathers on earth. They're just
yeah,
like. well, I mean, he's a cheater. And you're like,
Oh,
oh my God, I want to walk into traffic. Like, what is happening? Like, do we have a Hall of Fame or do we not? Like,
oh yeah,
the greatest head coach of all time.
yeah,
And look, I understand. I like once they broke down all the math and they went like, here's how it worked. You go, okay. If it turns out that everybody goes, hey, here's who I voted for, and hey, we're trying to get in guys that have been waiting for a couple of years, and we just shortened this timeline line for coaches, and we vote in so many. You go, I understand. But
yeah,
now I got to hold somebody at the Hall of Fame responsible for going, if you're going to change the rules,
yeah,
somebody has to sit down and go, what's going to happen when I change the rules?
right,
What does the landscape look like? One, coaches take a year off coaching all the time.
all the time.
Why are we making a 1 year horizon on then being eligible to go into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
That means that Tomlin sits out next year.
yeah,
If he sits out the next year, he's now eligible to go into the Hall of Fame. He's 58 years old or something, and he just comes back and coach. Like, what are we doing?
he could have a
Why?
whole second career of shit.
Yes, I don't understand. And that's like everything else where you just go, look, you guys knowingly made decisions that you will never be able to recover from.
Right.
We all look at the Baseball Hall of Fame and say, look, we're going to give you guys a pass. When you guys started putting people in the Hall of Fame, we hadn't had world wars yet. So the fact that the first time we voted people in, we didn't vote in Babe Ruth unanimously. So now we don't want to vote in anybody unanimously. Okay. I think it's stupid, but baseball's been going on for 130 years.
Yep.
When I was born, Super Bowl like 12 happened.
Yeah.
We have people alive that were adults when they started playing Super Bowls. Let's try not to do something epically stupid this early in a knowable thing.
Yes.
Like, we haven't been playing football since the 1800s. Like, people have been playing. We haven't had the NFL. We haven't been playing Super Bowls since the 1800s. So we can have forethought now, and we can go like, hey, we have a group sitting here having a discussion. One of the names on the page is the greatest head coach of all time. Do we have 40 people that are all going to vote for him? Maybe go around the room, have everyone put their hand up, go, all right, we're at 40. The other 10 of you can do whatever the hell you want with your votes. Like, at some point, you have to self-police the group so that you don't embarrass yourself.
Yeah. Now they're writing
All 50
retractable
of them.
statements. Now they're retracting
Yes.
statements. We have to hold these people accountable. I'm like, oh,
All
shit.
50 of these guys should be embarrassed collectively. Each one of them, I'm sure the number is going to end up being like 38 or 39. We're going to miss it by like 1 or 2 votes. And you're going to go, okay, who else didn't vote for him? And everybody's going to hem and haw and go, not me. And we're never going to find out. Fine, whatever. I'm going to hold all 50 of you responsible for ruining a thing that was going fine.
Yeah.
We had a Hall of Fame. We were putting people in it. It seemed like every year we just put the best whoever and we just put them in Canton. It seemed like this was working pretty straightforward. And then the greatest head coach of all time retires. And they're like,
We're
can't
not gonna
find
say
my
that.
ass with both hands. And you just go,
There's people running
the
around going,
most unforced.
we were gonna rename the Super Bowl trophy the Belichick trophy.
Right. I mean, for real. Like, I get it. You go back and you go, okay, you had these hollow coaches that, led men in suits with nice hats on and, all this sort of stuff. But, you know, they played 12 games. Most of these guys smoke in between plays. Like, yeah, there was greatness there. But now we have everybody tuned to within an inch of their life, and it's just meat missiles going everywhere trying to end your life. And one coach figured out how to win 6 Super Bowls, and you go, nah, not him,
Not good enough.
because he's a curmudgeon fuck.
And he is.
I well, and
And he
my
is.
favorite thing, right? So like, bullshit gets halfway around the world before the truth gets its pants on. So, like, I'm scrolling through stuff today and I just see Jimmy Johnson. And I go, I didn't even know Jimmy Johnson had a phone. If I was Jimmy Johnson, you wouldn't see me posting things anywhere. I'd be on my fishing boat or I'd be on TV.
Yeah.
But he quote tweets somebody and just goes, Belichick was doing the exact same thing I was doing. And most of the coaches at that time, he just happened to get caught.
Yeah.
And then I went, well, I'm glad somebody was at least man enough to just go, I have my Super Bowls. I'm not coaching anymore. You guys can get as mad as you want at me. Kiss my ass. I'm going to tell you the truth. And you just click through and it's just hundreds of people going like, oh, so we're all just cheaters now. And it's like, play professional sports.
You have to get an
Do you
edge.
not watch the game?
Yeah.
The offensive and defensive lines are cheating on every play.
Every
Several
play.
of the guys on both sides of the ball are cheating every time the ball gets snapped. That's just how the world works. You're playing a game. You don't get thrown in jail for cheating. A guy, 15-yard penalty, or they take one of your draft picks, or they fine you $100,000 or whatever, and then we move on with our made-up game. The fact that, for sure, the first guy that clearly doesn't know what's going on is Bill Polian.
Oh, yeah.
If I was Bill Polian and I was in that room,
Yeah.
and I knew that I was such a whiny piece of shit that I went and got a bunch of rules changed because Bill Belichick kept owning my ass.
Yeah.
And I was there for that conversation. And it wasn't 50 people going, yeah, we're going to vote for him. I'd have been the first guy to a reporter that went, by the way, I voted for him and I was screaming at people that were thinking about not voting for him. And then I'd have thrown my phone in the ocean and went, that's my statement.
Yeah. Don't call me for a couple weeks.
I don't remember if I voted for him. I definitely voted for Kraft. Maybe I voted for Bill. Is this guy the dumbest human on earth? Like, what's happening?
Oh.
You're going to take the brunt of all of this, just being the pettiest loser in North America. To go, I'm going to try to stand in the way of having our thing be complete. That's all you're doing. You're taking a thing that was complete, and now it's not.
Right.
And a year later, you can fix it. They're going to vote him in next year because the balls on anybody to not vote for him next year.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll go in.
Unanimously.
It sure should be that way.
There's going to be one guy on Polian,
No, for sure.
on
Of course
the
there
payroll.
is.
There's going to be one guy.
Oh, my God. Oh, it's mind-numbing. I don't understand. I don't. Who would have thought? It never crossed my mind when I was 12 that adults were this fucking stupid.
Oh, and
It's
St.
going to
Louis
be
Syndicate fans,
insane to have
this
me for a father. Because my son we're going to talk about it all the time.
yeah.
as soon as he can understand English, it's going to be me explaining how other people that look like me are just the dumbest people on earth. And don't trust any of them too much without verifying what they're talking about, because everybody's just making this up as they go along.
We got a fact check here, man.
And he's going to be 12 steps ahead of where I was when I was a kid, because I just assume adults, they all got together after I went to bed at night and went like, this is how we're going to run the world. And that is not how this is working.
And
Not one fucking
for
bit.
anybody paying attention, this is why we went live immediately.
Yes.
Because this is classic must-see podcast out of the St.
Yeah.
Louis
Because we don't
right?
have any future games to talk about yet. So
No.
we can now just, if you have anybody you like to call out, go ahead and put their head
While
on a
we're
pike.
at it, I got a whole bank. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. We got a whole bank of anyway. We could really get crooked and sideways, but we won't do that. I'll tell you what we will do though.
Yeah.
We're going to seamlessly put a bow on what we just talked about. That
the
under was good. The
Uh-huh.
over was good, except for Brandon. The Patriots won. The Seahawks won. There were some mishaps, maybe not perfect, but that's our Super Bowl. And Belichick did not get voted into the Hall of Fame in his first try. So you're caught up now, 36 minutes in.
Eventful couple of days. Yeah.
It's been an eventful couple of days. Brandon has been pent up because his Ben Harper stash went from 200,000 up to over $1 million, and now it's at 0. So we're struggling. We're having a little therapy session.
1.6 million.
Yeah, 1.6. Yeah, and it worked its way down.
Yeah.
Do you have any
I lost
beef right now
$900,000 in 2 or 3 weeks
with Travis Kelce or Taylor Swift? Any issues there? We need to get vetted out.
No, those guys. I haven't
got a wedding
seen
invite
either of their
yet.
faces in weeks. No,
I haven't got a wedding invite yet. I did. So Travis Kelce on his New Heights podcast, Pat McAfee showed this. Kelce said it's gonna be nice to see Bieniemy in the building again, and so everybody's going, "Oh, is he not retiring?"
Yeah,
so
it sounds
that happened
like it.
this week amongst the middle of the Belichick mess. So maybe Kelce's not retiring. Just throwing that out there.
Let's hope. Here's what I don't get about the Bieniemy thing.
Yeah.
Is he was here in Missouri.
Yeah.
They are world beaters.
Yeah.
Everybody goes. He should go be a head coach. He tries it, after a little bit of, mishaps in interviews, seemingly. He gets a chance. He goes out to Washington. That doesn't work out.
Right.
He makes his way back around. And everybody seems to be going like, I think Andy Reid's out of ideas. Why bring Bieniemy back? When it seems like the answer should be, that worked out well the last time.
Well,
why don't we try it again?
You're spot on.
Now
Brandon.
I've got 2 coordinators that have been head coaches, have found out it's not for them, and now they're back here being coordinators, doing what they're good at.
Yeah.
By all intents and purposes, Spagnuolo is a great defensive coordinator. Bieniemy is a great offensive coordinator. It sounds like, from a leadership standpoint, Bieniemy does all the things that Andy Reid doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
I don't I I don't understand. Like, hey, maybe it doesn't work. It's really hard to win Super Bowls. But
No, well,
like,
here's the deal, Brandon. We talked about this last week. Okay, we talked when we got into our coach
mhm,
conversation a little bit, the carousel.
yeah,
We talked about
yeah,
culture.
yeah, yeah,
We talked about leadership, and I think honestly, in this situation, you're exactly right. You've got the enemy, and you've got Spagnola, both talented guys in their own right, just not head coaches. But in
yeah,
with a leader like Reed, they become powerful. I'd argue the same thing. Look at Robert Saleh.
uh huh,
Didn't do very good at the Jets. All right, not that was not a good situation. Came back to the 49ers. 49ers had all these injuries. When he's allowed to focus on what he's good at, there's excelling results. And this is a trend throughout all of NFL history. Let's think about this. Um,
yeah,
you can go back all the way to the days of when Tom Landry was coaching. He was a defensive guy. He was brought up by the Giants as a defensive coach, and when the Cowboys were winning, it's because he had somebody like Staubach he didn't have to worry about, and he coached the defense.
sure.
You can look at a guy like McDaniels. He couldn't get it done, right? He went to the Raiders, futzed around,
No, but
goes
like
back,
everybody
offensive
needs to give him
coordinator.
a clap.
Yeah,
Like he went, he talked to the guys in Cleveland. He went, "You guys are crazier than I am."
yeah,
Everybody needs to watch the hell out for the Chargers this year
yeah.
because between Harbaugh and him,
Oh, yeah,
everybody better get the hell out of the way.
yeah,
If you want to go, hey, I worry about Andy Reid and Bieniemy because they're in the same division with the Chargers, that's a fair statement
yeah,
because they are going to be coming guns blazing
yeah,
because Harbaugh is a grit guy and McDaniels is a let me see how many directions I can make people run fast as shit.
yeah.
And those two things together are a problem.
Yeah. No,
And
this is a good
they,
that's a good match for the Chargers. And then arguably
uh
we got
huh,
another one though. Look at the Patriots offensive coordinator. Um
uh huh,
he
McDaniel, or is
um
that
McDaniel also.
Josh?
Josh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So then you got him. So there are instances where while they think they're leaders, they're better off as executors. And they
yeah,
succeed and the teams benefit from it. But the AFC AFC West, dude, is going to be stupid.
yeah. It's going to be a problem.
I mean, you look at all four teams, right? This is how I'm looking at all four teams. The Chiefs are not going to be down another year. They're going to bounce back. They may not be the Chiefs of a couple years ago,
Right.
but they're going to compete. They're not going to be happy with where they're at. They're going to have the enemy back. They're going to have their legs back. Mahomes going to be on a mission to prove. They'll put some pieces in there. You've got the Chargers. You just kind of went off on that. Well, the Broncos are a broken ankle from the Super Bowl in a snowstorm.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they're right there kicking everybody's ass. And then I'm sorry, but when the Raiders get Mendoza and they've got Ashton Genty and they've got Brock Bowers and they've got Michael Mayer and they've got Max Crosby, they're gonna get the right guy in there. They're gonna
Yeah.
put this thing
They're gonna be a
together.
problem for a couple of people.
They're gonna
You
be
know?
maybe not perfect next year, but in 2 years
Yeah.
that division is stupid. I mean, it's gonna
Yeah.
be just battle after battle.
No, it's gonna be the same as the NFC West. Like
Yeah.
the West is going to just be a problem for everybody. Is like until these quarterbacks and coaches start turning over. Like Arizona has a problem.
Yeah.
They don't have a quarterback, they don't have a coach.
Yeah.
The Raiders are at least fixing probably their quarterback problem. God only knows who they're going to get to coach. I don't know. I think they still have an open, or did they elevate somebody? I don't even know.
I don't
But
think so.
the other three teams are going to be a problem, and the
Yep.
Rams and the Niners in Seattle are going to go right back to being a problem. And the Western United States is going to be a shootout.
Yeah. Football is strong over there. And arguably, I mean, I sit and look. Football is strengthening right now. Look at the NFC East. Okay, the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year. They're not a bad team. I know we hate them, we hate on them, but they still have
Yeah, yeah,
Hurts,
yeah,
still
yeah.
have Barkley, they got Sirianni. They've still got
Uh-huh. Yeah.
players. They've got a killer defense. The
Yeah, they just gotta figure out how
Cowboys
to run the offense.
Cowboys had the most explosive offense. If they can get some defense to match with it, and I think their head coach shot he's in the right direction. I feel good about that.
Yeah.
The Skins can if they can keep Jaden Daniels healthy, and they've got Dan Quinn, that's a good coach. They might be the weakest of the bunch now that Harbaugh's over there with Scattaboo and Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors
Dart.
and Jalen
Yeah.
Hyatt and Abdul Carter, and I'm going, and they're gonna have a good draft pick, and I'm like, shit, that now the East is strong. Now we're talking about that,
Yeah.
but like the NFC North isn't strong. The Packers,
No.
the Bears,
Yeah.
the Vikings, the Lions. Oh my.
Yeah. It is just it's gonna be
Football is
one
crazy right now.
fun. Yeah. Yeah. And look, obviously, somebody's going to underperform. But at
Yes.
least it doesn't seem like we have too many teams that are just flapping in the wind.
Yeah.
You know, you brought
There's
up
a couple.
Saleh. Him going to Tennessee, I think he is going to get another rude awakening. Like,
I
unless
think so
Ward just
too.
makes a leap. Like, if he
Ward,
gets the right offensive coordinator in there and Ward makes a leap and they have a good draft, technically, yes, they could play well. But I think that they're going to be on the lower end. Arizona's going to stay on the lower end. You know, you're unfortunately Cincinnati. I don't know what the hell they do. You know, you got Burrow and you got your two wide receivers, but the rest of the team, you just go, what exactly is the plan
they
here?
they
And
should
they're
have got
stuck
rid of
with
their
this head
coach.
coach that they don't want to. Well, we unfortunately have like a baseball owner owning the Bengals, where he just goes, "I'm going to spend. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend my money on this. Like we're gonna get away with the bare minimum here. I'm not paying two coaches at the same time."
Right.
When you know, because that was hilarious out of Kraft. Like they brought up him switching to Vrabel, and he was like, you know, he like called out specifically. He's like, it's not just Mayo. He's like, I fired and had to pay like 25 coaches. Like the
Yeah.
entire staff gets fired and they all get paid. And it's like,
Yeah.
you think about that through the lens of like the Raiders, they got to have 90 coaches on a tab down there at the Death Star. Like every one of those coaches has, a team of guys that they have rolled over and ran out of town. There's got to be half the coordinators and, what's the next level down? Like I guess they call them coordinator, like the passing game coordinator and the
Coaches, the coach, the
linebacking
quarterback's coach,
Yeah.
running back's
But
coach. Yeah.
half the next level of coaches spread out across the country have to be getting half their salary from the Raiders at this point. Like,
Well,
eh,
there probably is a clause that says once you get hired by another team, then we can stop paying you. But I think if
well, I
they
mean, you
stay
probably
out
get
of
that
work.
offset language.
Yeah.
Like most of these guys have offset language where, like, hey, if you get paid the minimum, then you still get the rest of your salary from the other guy, and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
either which way, I be fair, I had never really thought about it like that. And Kraft just said it. He was just like, yeah, it's not just firing the one guy. I fired like 2 dozen people, and like to just pay out all these guys so that I can get to the coach I want. And now, obviously, because I probably write the check 2 more times over to
Yeah.
go to the Super Bowl again. But you go down this road of going. I look down the list of teams, and you just go, there's really only 3 or 4 here that when we're going into the offseason that you just go, it's going to take some coin flips for you guys to actually get good. And the rest of them, you go, at least you have a plan. We got to, you know, you're moving towards something. You're not just,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, playing for the first draft pick again. So yeah, like
Yeah.
this, I don't know.
There's some good
It's going to
stuff
be
happening. It's yeah,
be an
there's good stuff.
exciting draft season. You know.
Absolutely. So let's recap or we've already recapped. Let's take a look at we've got an upcoming matchup. We will have a full review. Our next show next week will be on, the game, what we're going to see. We've got Seattle. What do you think their top two strengths are?
Well, I think the top two strengths for me that are going to matter is their coaching and their defensive line. I think those are going to be the two in my mind that if they win by margin, it's going to be because of those two pieces.
Okay, I like
What
that.
are you thinking?
Yeah, so for my two on the Seahawks, two keys to success is they're going to have to play in an environment that is not home successfully. We've seen them bobble a little bit around. If I
Sure.
recall, I may be wrong. Didn't they go to Carolina earlier in the year and bumble around? And I think I was even touting them like this team's going to be great. They're going to go into Carolina and just roll them. I don't care if it's a West Coast to East Coast trip. And ultimately, that's not how it panned out for them. I think they eked by. But for me, this is going to be for the Seahawks managing the location and taking advantage of it. They're closer to San Francisco. San Francisco is going to be like a home field for them because they play there, every single year. Um, they understand the lay of the land. They understand where the hotels are. It's going to be a little bit of an easier transition for them. They're on West Coast time. There's some little things like that. So I'm talking. My first keys is managing the intangibles for your players and yourself well. Um, that's something that can help a team win or lose before they ever get to the field. So manage the intangibles.
Yeah.
Um, the second thing that I think they're really going to have to do is continue to pound the rock. Um, le- don't fall in love with Darnold's arm. Let Darnold's arm be amazing because of the play action, because you're using it off the running game. I think their defense will take care of itself. I think they've got the better of the two defenses. I think offensively, you can't make mistakes and you can't have Darnold pressing, trying to push it down the field. Even though you saw Denver throw a few behind, um, it's just a little bit different. You've got Jackson Smith and Jigba, and he can cut loose, but Christian's going to be on him, Gonzalez, and so that's going to be a,
Yeah.
a matchup all over the field, just like Sertan matched up well with the New England's Diggs, pretty much tracked him all over the place
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So I kind of see, Njigba's probably going to have less than 100. Darnold's not going to have 325. He's going to have the yips. How do we control the intangibles if you're Seattle, and how do you run the rock? Those are the two things to start with from there. So if we add in your intangibles with Seattle, around coaching and defensive line, I think that's a good 4-point game plan that if they execute, Seattle can win. What do you think
Yeah.
about the Patriots? What's their two for you?
I think it's the defensive backfield for the Patriots that that they have to control Njigba and Shaheed and this vertical game. They've got to figure out a way to to lock that down. If both of these quarterbacks are ready and good at flinging the ball downfield, and so I think that the Patriots' defensive backfield is going to have to smother those wide receivers. And I think May is going to have to execute. It's unfortunately for a second year quarterback, it's going to be on his shoulders to figure it out. and to diagnose that defense as it's happening and go,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to make the right decisions here. And I'm going to avoid making the wrong decisions, I think is the biggest part of it. Is that, if you want to distill it down to one thing, is he's going to have to be locked in to what that defense does and say, these are the places I can't screw up. And then it gives them the opportunity to steal one. I mean, 4.5, or even if it gets down to three, or, I think it's down to 3.5 right now. I doubt the line gets through the three. Um,
Probably not.
but, you're, this is a pretty big line when you get to a Super Bowl these days.
Yeah.
This isn't the Niners and the Chargers back in the day. So, this is seen as a pretty big underdog, and he's going to have to not be a second year quarterback when it comes
Yeah.
down to it, in
That,
my mind at least.
yeah. I think you're right. And I think that so to play off of that, my keys to the game is really going to be the game plan Josh McDaniel can put into place to help Drake May, which is going to be once again running game, and really utilize Henry, the tight end. They didn't get the ball to Henry enough. I don't know if it was because of the weather, the routes, or if Denver did a good job of taking him away. But all through the playoffs and all through the end of the season, I really paid attention to the Patriots because I was kind of riding them a little bit in our leagues. And Henry played a very active role in May's success. So McDaniel's figuring out a way to scheme him open and to allow May to have quick 2-step, 3-step drops, get the ball out to keep that Seattle pressure off of him is going to allow him to perform better than a second year quarterback. I don't know if they can do it or not because we know Seattle's defense is nasty. But they have to have some kind of structure and plan around it. Whether that's, different wide receiver screens, running back screens, tight end screens, um, things to take that pressure off is going to be critical.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think
Yeah.
that pairing that with just not making bad rash decisions, and then having
Yeah.
the game plan that you can execute paired together, that's the only way that they're going to make it through this defense, or they are going to get smothered. He's going to have the ball slapped out of his hands, and he's going to get picked off, and then this turns into an absolute walloping if
Yeah. Yeah.
if they don't.
Can't have
They're
turnovers.
in a position where they have to play close to perfect, at this point.
Um, yeah, I think right now, obviously in the sports books and in people's minds, Seattle's the dominant favorite. I do think Vrabel will key on that a little bit and have his team juiced and ready to play. So Brandon, we're at the 58-minute mark. We are gonna wrap up for the week for our topics, but a little teaser for next week. As we head in, we're going to give you our full Super Bowl breakdown. We're going to talk about the keys to the game. We're going to talk about what our lines are. We're going to talk about where the betting lines are in Vegas and the movement, any key indicators that may be out there. And then, Brandon, just for fun, what do you think? You bring three of your favorite prop bets, and I'll bring three of my favorite prop bets, and we'll kind of talk about those as well to round out the
Perfect.
program. Okay,
That's
so we'll
exactly where my head
give
was
you
at.
some prop bets for the plays next week, and we'll tell you who we think our champion's going to be as we wrap up this football season. Brandon, any final thoughts before
Perfect. I
we
can't wait.
send these guys out the door?
I'm pumped for this last game. I'm sad for the last game.
Oh, I know.
Okay. We got nothing but just staring off, hoping baseball gets started soon. So
I know. I'd like.
hopefully
I'm going to
everybody,
try really hard. Going to try hard to get into college basketball, but I'm struggling. I actually have a pro game on right now, and it is just boring. It's
it's
terrible.
hard. I sit around and I watch it, at night. And the college is hard because there's just so many teams. That's the thing that
College
I
is
always run into.
tough.
With football, somehow I figure out how to zero in on the pockets that I think are gonna be the most
Yeah.
useful. College basketball, I just sit down and just start watching teams and just go like, "Okay, like, I'm probably not gonna see this team play again for, like, 3 weeks." Like, I just go I'm just cycling through one of the 90 basketball teams that are playing on any night. So that is the
There's a
next
ton of
thing.
them.
We're closing in on March Madness. And yes, I need to get better so I can have some informed ideas when we go into bracket season.
Yeah. No, that's probably where the focus needs to be. It was funny. I was watching yesterday, sitting down here in this chair doing a little pre-work for the show, and actually, SLU was on. So SLU's ranked. Did you know that?
Okay. Yes.
So that's an odd
Yeah, they've
one.
been having a good season. That at
Doesn't
least
happen
I
very
can.
often.
Yeah, the teams around here, I follow, pretty well. But the figuring out which of the top teams I actually think are better than that's where I start getting lost. So,
Spending time watching
but
Arizona,
soon as we get to the
Gonzaga,
backside of the
UCLA.
Super Bowl, yeah, Bama, like, it seems like they're kinda up there somewhere. So yeah, we gotta pivot to that. I gotta start listening to people talk about basketball when we get to, you know, Tuesday-ish, 10 days from now.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. All right. Well, I would say good luck with your picks this weekend, but unless you're betting on the Pro Bowl flag football game, not a lot happening here
Please
from the
don't
St.
do
Louis
that.
Syndicate. So good luck. Good luck with your picks, or
Getting
take your
ready.
wife out for a nice dinner. You guys take your girls out for a nice date, have a nice dinner. Say hi to your kids. It's your first weekend. You've come up for air since August.
Cheers,
See you next
everybody.
week, guys.